Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, the channel donations, and the Patreon family we working. Now, as you guys see in the title, this is the Boxingego review for Mayweather vs. McGregor, Showtime's epilogue for their all access program. And they usually do a couple episodes before, and then after we have the outcome of the fight. And I watched it on Showtime. They replayed the actual fight. I didn't actually watch the replay of the whole fight, but I just caught the epilogue, just DVR'd it. There's a link in the description, but watch it ASAP because it's not on Showtime's official page, so I don't know how long it'll be up. So link in the description, watch it ASAP. I don't know if it'll stay up or whatever, but this was a very good episode, about 30 minutes long. I'm gonna give some of my thoughts. Again, you guys can watch it, link in the description. And I gotta tell you, after being in Vegas and watching it and just watching this pretty much cements what I already felt about the whole fight. This was Floyd robbing the bank. This was money in the bank, and it was good to see because they have HD footage, alternate camera angles, and they have the fighters mic'd up, and you get to see the crowd, the audience, Conor's family, Floyd's family, and celebrity. You know what I mean? So it's cool just to get that kind of 360 that you wouldn't get on the regular Showtime telecast. But Robert Burr is giving the instructions. You'll see some screenshots in there. Again, Floyd Mayweather looked tiny next to Conor. Conor looked huge, right, next to him. That's one of the first things I noticed. I'm like, damn, Conor looks way bigger, because in the actual ring, the ring is flat and the boxing shoes are flat. So you get to see how big Mayweather is next to Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor was clearly bigger. There was one of the press tour stops where Mayweather had like these lifted shoes, so it looked like they were closer in height. But you've seen when they were getting the referee instructions before the fight began what it really was. Conor McGregor was just naturally bigger, naturally taller. But to me, like I said, this cements what I already felt. Floyd robbed the bank. He looked calm. Like if you see the in between the round scenes, he wasn't breathing too crazy. It looked like his cardio was there even after 2 weeks. 2 years off. He's looking at the camera. Conor's family looked pretty nervous. There are scenes at the beginning, and Conor's girlfriend was like, "Oh my God, I can't watch this." There are scenes where his mom was putting her head down. It's just, to me, I really feel like this was the strategy. I think Floyd really truly wanted to go out with the bang, go out with a fight like kind of like the Cotto fights and the Maidana fights, where fans wouldn't cry and complain like this. I really think he's done. Like, I think he's going to focus on his other business endeavors and stuff. And he knew that Conor McGregor, lacking certain things that other professional boxers would have, he knew he could make a shit ton of money, which he did, which Conor will do also, but not as much as Floyd. And he knew he could take certain chances. And I really, after watching this especially, I told you this immediately after the fight, I told you days later, I told you on live streams this week, everything. I think the game plan was to do that. And he even said it post-fight. You guys go, oh, he was just saying that because Conor was doing better. I mean, you guys can believe whatever you want. But the reason I believe this, in the beginning of the fight, you'll see subtitles, and Floyd Mayweather Sr. said he's going to get tired in the later rounds. And after, I think it was round 1 or 2, Floyd's in the, you read the subtitle, he's mic'd up, or there's a microphone close to him, and he's in the corner, and he said he'll get tired. So to me, I mean, the fact that his dad, him, they keep saying he'll get tired, that shows me that was the game plan, which is very smart, because you let the, I told you that it's so funny, man. This is such a phenomenal year for boxing. And I'm having a great year. New media is having a great year. Boxingego as a channel, as a staff, as a label, and as a motherfucking crew is having a great year. But I can't say the same for some of y'all, because y'all be talking that bullshit. But I mean, just listen to what I was saying in my post fight. But his dad saying, oh, he's gonna get tired soon. It's like one of the themes. So it's not like you can't go back in time and have said the stuff. He said it in real time, and then the microphones caught it. So the central theme is he'll get tired, he'll get tired. So like I said before, I think the game plan was to let him expend energy, because it's a very smart and, to me, kind of a basic game plan. If you watch Conor McGregor's past fights, he got tired in past fights, right? So that's one thing. Two, he's big and top heavy, and he's coming from the UFC, where at most in a championship fight they're fighting 5-minute rounds, which is only 25 minutes. 5 times 5, 25, versus boxing is 36. So that's really what you would want to do, drag it on a little bit longer. And I told you guys pre-fight, post-fight, I told you in my pre-fight predictions and stuff, he's going to try to lead him into deep waters and drown, because that's where the true separation can show. Because we know, I've watched enough boxing to know that guys who are like phenomenal power punchers or things like that, they can beat a guy who's more skilled than them just from brute force, because they catch him with something early, and that's that. But like, look at Broner versus Maidana. I think Broner has overall more hand speed, more overall skill than Maidana, but Maidana's awkward and he's a big puncher, and he caught Broner early, which set a tone. Same thing with Kovalev Ward. Ward got dropped in the second round, which set an early tone. So that's pretty much what you do. You stay safe early, let him get that youth out of his system, make him in there feel like he's doing something, and then that's where you start picking him off and you start picking up the tempo. And he's not going to, coming over from the UFC, he's not going to be conditioned to deal with Mayweather doghouse rounds. But if Floyd would have just opened up, you give him time to adjust while he's at his maximum energy. And I think this epilogue really solidified really what I was saying. But I just watching how comfortable Floyd was, there's a scene where Floyd was like, he felt he got hit low, and he's just smiling like, oh, you hit me low. Floyd landed a nasty body shot that it looked like hurt. And the good thing is Showtime was showing you all these HD camera angles and slow motion and close-ups, and that he raked the shit out of Conor McGregor's body. And then they cut to his girlfriend, who's just looking like, damn, right? There's this pretty popular picture I've seen floating around from the fight where Conor, it looked like a Nike sign of snot came out of his nose or something. And rewatching it in slow motion and on this all access was really impressive, because Conor's the bigger, taller guy with longer arms, and Conor was kind of pushing his punches, but he had punched Floyd, and Floyd pull countered to create that sequence that we've seen in the picture. And I didn't remember from watching it in real time, I don't remember that being set up from a pull counter, which is pretty impressive since Conor's the taller fighter. It's going to be harder to pull counter on somebody who's taller, bigger, with the longer reach. But it's pretty much what I said. I told you guys, Conor McGregor, see, people are living in the moment. I try my best to pull myself out of the moment and just really look at the fight. But after round 3, that's where Conor, to me, started getting picked apart. A lot of people are giving participation points for Conor McGregor, but I believe it was round 4. Floyd's walking to his corner, and he's just looking like kind of triumphant. And that's where he really started to open up. The round was still kind of somewhat close, because Conor was still fresh and stuff. But you even hear Conor McGregor's corner in the subtitles. It said, I think he might have took that one, yeah? So the doubt was there. And then the camera pans to Floyd. He's looking at his kids, smiling. The very next round, Conor's looking up at the clock, which is what he did versus Nate Diaz in the rematch. Those aren't good signs. It's round 5 or so, and you're already looking up at the clock in a clinch. You know what I'm saying? Round 5, I'm not the smartest brother in the world, but there's a 12 rounds. It was a 12 rounder, you know what I mean? So that you would have had 7 more rounds to go, and you're already looking up the clock. You haven't even, technically, if it's a 12 round fight, the halfway point would be round 6. Round 5, you're already looking up at the clock. So I started seeing the breakdown and deterioration of what Conor was doing and Floyd's game plan, and he just started to open up more and more as the fight progressed. And Floyd, being a smart person in terms of a boxer, he started really trying to add to it by, at the end of the round, he pushed Conor and he said, when you going to use your power, which was cold-blooded. But all those things, okay, Floyd, I'm telling you, man, Floyd might be TBE in terms of a boxer. I don't care who you like. I don't care about the domestic violence and all that extra shit you guys bring up, but he might be the most skillful and smartest boxer, not only for his boxing but what he's done outside. I think you have to give him that, because like I said, when you're in there, you notice little subtle things. So if I watching a playback and watching Conor in a clinch looking up at the clock in round 5, right, you don't think Floyd heard gasping or heavy breathing. I mean, you're two dudes in close quarters with each other. So if we're noticing this on the playback, he's right next to Conor, so he probably heard the umps and gases and heavy breathing and stuff like that. So I think that's why he pushed him. You know what I mean? He could have technically lost a point or something if the ref really felt the need to do it or whatever. But he did that to further discourage him, because he knew his man was breaking down, and Floyd breaks you down physically and mentally and psychologically. Like I said, I really feel like Floyd didn't feel. Chris Van Herdeen, he did an interview and he was saying the same thing, and there's some other boxing trainer or fighter that was next to him saying it. I don't think Floyd felt truly threatened. I really don't, especially midway through the fight. Once he got a feel for Conor's power and technique, and he was hammer fisting and stuff like that, because he was literally, you'll see in the screen cap, he was literally walking him down, like his hands low and everything. And I really feel like I've never seen him fight that exact way, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe in spots, but he was literally trying to get this man out of here at age 40, 2 years off the couch. He knew, I don't know if he talked to Paulie when Paulie was like, bring your balls, Conor, and doing all that. And maybe Paulie schooled him and said, hey, once he starts getting tired, he's gonna get ghost on you. But Floyd started finding him mad aggressive. Literally look at the screenshot. Literally walking up to him as Conor's trying to, and see that's, and he might have also picked this up from the Nate Diaz rematch, because Nate Diaz had Conor looking up at the clock in the octagon, and Conor was literally running, trying to create some space. So to me, that right there shows me that you're not going to be equipped for what Mayweather does in terms of like them doghouse rounds and putting that freakish pressure on you, because you didn't even want Nate Diaz to put pressure in the octagon and started running to create space. So Conor, he just, after, like I said, after round 3, he started getting broke down to me, and it started seeing it physically. He started taking bigger shots, and also spiritually. And then there's a screenshot you'll see, and Floyd's son said, look at him, he's got his hands on his hip, he can't even fight no more, he looks spent. And this was to begin the round. Boxers look for that, you know what I'm saying? Like I've talked to people like the Wards and Broners and just different people in the industry, and they're smart. They know what to look for. Like, you know what I mean? You don't think when you're in a corner you're across from somebody. You don't think they sneak a peek, or the trainer or anybody, to see how they're breathing, to see, like, I mean, that's why it was a big deal when Canelo was fighting Chavez Jr. That's also another example of what I'm talking about. You look over at the corner, and let's say Chavez Jr. is not getting those shots off, and you look over at this motherfucker Canelo, and he's standing up, he's not even sitting down. You're like, damn, that's weird. So that's kind of adding insult to injury. Boxers are smart, you know what I mean? So you don't think Floyd is observing him heavy breathing and him about to begin the round, his body language is looking exasperated. I mean, his son, Floyd's son, who I don't even think boxes, said, look, he's got his hands on his hips, he can't even fight no more. So if he could see it from the front row in the crowd, you don't think Floyd, a trained fighter, can see that body language? Those aren't good things, you know what I mean? And we all know how the fight ended. Floyd in rounds 9 and 10, he just put on too much pressure. Conor after says, oh, it was a bit early. I mean, he's supposed to say that. He's a prideful Irish fighter, and he hadn't been knocked down, but the end was near. Floyd robbed the bank. That's bottom line. Watched the All Access, thoroughly enjoyed it. Like just seeing the Charlize Theron's fine ass and the different people and just different camera angles and stuff. Very well put together. Dana White post fight, he said, "Man, that was badass. You did your thing. I'm proud." They showed Floyd kind of riding the Vegas Strip in a whip, a nice ass whip, just riding off into the sunset. And to me, that's kind of, this was a this was almost like a win-win for Floyd. He fought a person who, when it came down to it, if he made it through the championship rounds, the halfway mark, then he was going to be able to clearly take over, which real boxing fans knew that. I talked to my brother when the fight was announced, and he was like, man, this is easy work for Floyd. Floyd looked very calm in the dressing room before the fight. Another interesting scene was the locker room. Conor McGregor forgot his cup. So, I mean, there's no way he was beating Floyd. He didn't even have a cup or an extra one. None of his team had a cup. Nobody thought to have a checklist and catch. So that, I mean, that's how you know when your corner's inept, at least in the boxing world. You know what I mean? They weren't really and truly ready. Who forgets a cup? That's like, and then Floyd's like, I knew he was going to do this. I brought him an extra one, and I believe he had to wear Floyd's cup or Floyd's extra cup, which is weird. You know what I mean? It puts me in the mindset of Mike Tyson in the Buster Douglas fight. Mike Tyson was such a big star, and he was such a knockout artist and this, you know what I mean, boogeyman. They weren't expecting to lose to Buster Douglas, so they didn't even have the cold compressions and stuff. You know what I mean? Because they weren't expecting Tyson to get lumped up. So they didn't even have the proper tools in the corner. See, you guys, I know my boxing. You guys got to do your research. But just go watch that documentary where they were talking about it. His corner was ill-prepared because they weren't expecting Buster Douglas to probably last. So, you know what I mean? Why get the cold compression and have all these tools if it's supposed to be easy work? And to my knowledge, Tyson was like partying and taking pictures with fans and stuff like that. But that's not good when your corner's not bringing necessary tools like the inswell and stuff to reduce swelling. Just on the off chance, what if a headbutt caused you to swell, like let's say Keith Thurman versus Robert Guerrero? You got to bring those things. Conor didn't even have a cup. And then they also talked about it. I think the narrator on this All Access, they talked about it, and they were saying that none of the people in Conor's camp had ever worked a boxing fight professionally, which is stupid. I understand the Mac life, and you know what I mean, you want to keep things in-house, and John Cavagna, and you want to keep your already assembled team, but that's stupid. It's just like, you didn't get Big John to referee when you were sparring Paulie and Deshaun Johnson. You got Joe Cortez, a retired boxing referee, right? So to me, it's pretty dumb, in my opinion, to have this much money on the line, this big of a fight. Because if Conor, listen to me, just understand what I'm about to say. If Conor went out there and knocked out Floyd, he would be the biggest thing in sports right now. You know what I mean? Because you came over, you're not even a pure boxer, and you came over and knocked out. So you would get more credit. People are giving Conor credit for losing and getting knocked out. So imagine the credit he would get from coming over from a fighting discipline, but not predominantly boxing. People would be like, oh shit, he's the next coming up Bruce Lee. He really is on some Bruce Lee shit. You would get a ton of credit because you step outside of your comfort zone. That's like me being a soccer player, and then I go heads up in the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, and then I beat him and I complete more passes and have more passing yards. You know what I mean? They'd be like, damn, a soccer player did that? So you would get much more credit than just people who knocked out Floyd, if they were to knock him out, that were boxers, because they're actually boxers. So to be in this big of a fight and no one on your team has even really worked a boxing fight, that doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? And it's not even to step on John Cavagna's toes or anything, but like I said, you stand to gain 75 to 100 mil, whatever, in this particular fight. You've made good money in the UFC. Grab you a boxing coach to help you. You know what I mean? Fuck the Joe. I mean, not like fucking, but like, for lack of a better word, fuck Joe Cortez being there. I mean, that's cool to get you the feel for it, but if you really want to get the feel, grab a boxing coach. I mean, there's tons of guys, and you probably like Buddy McGirt, anybody like that, Barry Hunter, Robert Garcia, Freddie Roach, if you wanted to. I mean, I think he was sparring in Freddie Roach's gym. You could have got somebody from the boxing world. That doesn't make sense that they didn't do that, and that's probably why they didn't have a cup. Little simple stuff like that, because that's not necessarily your routine thing. So your gear bag might be different for the UFC. I don't know, but crazy stuff. And like I said, Floyd robbed the bank. I think it was really a strategy. They were telling you during the telecast, so it's not like they went back. It's not like just Floyd said this post-fight and that's it. After he already got the outcome he wanted. He's telling you, they're mic'd up and you can listen to it on the All Access. They're telling you in rounds 1 or 2, oh, he gonna get tired. He gonna get tired. Yeah, just get him to the body. He'll get tired right now. Floyd was not worried. I'm telling you guys. You guys can believe whatever you want. Call me names, racist, and whatever. He wasn't. He even said in the locker room before the fight, he said you're gonna knock me out 3 to 4 rounds. I want to see that. I want to see you. He said, motherfucker, if you make it 3 or 4 rounds yourself, he said, I want to see that. He looked, Conor's size and all that, none of that bothered him. Floyd's breathing was good, and this is 2 years off the couch. So, I mean, all in all, props to Conor for challenging himself. I'll give him that. He made it interesting, and like I said, I'm happy. People were happy with the fight. Whether you don't believe anything I'm saying, you think Conor's so awkward and he's on Bruce Lee shit, that's why Floyd struck. I mean, yeah, we can debate it and people have their different opinions. So I'm just happy that the event's over, and I'm happy people enjoyed it. Happy for the fighters to get a good paycheck. And I mean, on to the next thing. But I really enjoyed this All Access. I thought it was a good one. Let me know your thoughts. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.